If you've been around the channel a while, you've surely heard my outro by now. And until next time, remember that your small actions make a big difference in the long run. I preach small actions, and yes, they truly do matter. Learn more about that in this video. But if you only have a certain amount of time, a certain amount of energy, what are the biggest and best actions that you should focus on right here, right now? Where should you start? Especially when it comes to individual action. Let's discuss a few of those today. Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all sorts of things zero waste, focusing on free, easy, and fun ways to live low waste and ways that we can all be activists. If I talk a little bit too fast for you, there's a gear icon right down here where you can change the speed of the video to something that better suits you. This video was inspired by a recent Eco Book Club read, Not the End of the World by Hannah Ritchie. We loved it. You can join the Eco Book Club down below for just $1 a month, where we pick different books and read them every month or so. And the premise of this book is simple: climate optimism and also focusing our energy in the right places. Because yes, it absolutely matters that I unplug my phone when it's no longer charging. It absolutely matters that I turn my AC down 1 degree to save some energy in that way as well. And yes, avoiding that one piece of plastic in my grocery run matters. These little teeny tiny things are not things that we should be stressing over, right? Do them if you want to, don't do them if you want to. But don't let those little teeny tiny things be the things that are causing you the most stress when it comes to the environment and waste. So if you have no idea where to start and you really want to focus on the biggest, most best things, or maybe you just have limited time and energy to invest in a zero waste life, this is a list that I have acquired from her video and also some personal research on what will have the biggest and best impact on the planet as individuals. Now, if you want to go beyond this short list, I highly recommend that you check out my Zero Waste in a Year guide. This guide will walk you through zero waste life, one tip, one swap, one piece of advice every single day for an entire year. Each month focuses on a different topic. And yes, you can start right here, right now, in the middle of the month, in the middle of the year. It is not formulated based on the calendar. You can pick it up today and continue on for the next 360 days continuous. You can take a break when you go on vacation. You can take a break if you have to go back to school in the fall. Whatever works for you. You can pick up and put this guide down whenever you want, and it is available on my website. Now to the list. First is to eat fewer animal products. Don't click away. I'm not saying that everybody on the planet has to be vegan. In fact, I'm only about 98% vegan myself. And if you want me to talk fully about my diet, my lifestyle choices, etc., let me know. I'm happy to. But ultimately it comes down to I make mistakes with labels. People in my life bake me baked goods with dairy in them and I don't want to turn them down. I wear wool socks and things like that. Hate me if you want to, I guess, but once again, that is a bad use of your energy, your time, my energy, my time, because the best thing we can do here is all of us can reduce some reliance on animal products, and that will be much more impactful than just a few people being perfectly vegan. If you were raised omnivore like I was, I highly encourage you to start small. I went cold turkey vegan back in the day. Yeah, that was really uncomfortable for my gut. I went from eating like not enough fiber to eating so much fiber in one day and not enough protein, and I was hungry, etc. I suggest you try small. Go cold turkey if you want to, but perhaps just try one vegan meal per week and then see if it can't become one vegan meal per day. Try eating the vegan option when you go out to a restaurant. Maybe you even try full vegetarianism or pescatarianism at first. You get the idea. You don't have to do all or nothing. Perhaps you're one of those people who's in the camp that, I could go vegan if it weren't for the cheese. Well, then keep the cheese. You can cut out everything else, the beef, the eggs, the chicken, the pork, and keep the cheese. That is still amazing and still such a great step in the right direction. Reduction has a huge impact. But why is this even better for the planet? Well, it takes a lot of food to feed an animal. It takes a lot of food to feed a chicken. It takes a lot of food to feed a pig. It takes a lot of food to feed a cow, the biggest of all of the animals that we eat. A 1,000-pound cow needs about 20 to 30 pounds of food per day, and a human only needs 2 to 4 pounds of food per day. We could be taking all of that cow food and turning it into human food. No, I'm not saying that we need to eat the cow's food, but cows mostly eat things like wheat and corn and soy, stuff that we eat as well. But really the emphasis here is on the land use that it takes to raise a huge animal like a cow. That cow needs room to graze, that cow needs room for all of the water that it drinks, which is also a lot, and that cow needs room for all of those acres of food that it has to eat every single day. The amount of land space that it takes for a cow's food would equate to the amount of food for 5 to 10 humans per day. Once again, Hannah Ritchie heavily covers this topic in her book, but you can also learn more in this video. Next is to drive less. Once again, I'm not saying that everybody has to give up their car. Hopefully you're understanding the point of this video as well. None of these require perfection, just reduction. Reducing our emissions truly does matter, so let's start with one of our biggest emitters, our vehicles. I know not everybody can fully give up their car. I don't. I go car light. Simply, I am less reliant on my car than I used to be. It's easier said than done. I have lived in very rural places until now. I have lived in 8 different places in the last 8 years, and only just now have I been able to live somewhere walkable. So walk where you can, bike where you can, work from home, or simply just carpool with friends. Let's say, for example, You and 4 other coworkers or 4 other classmates for a total of 5 people, you take turns driving every single day of the work week or the school week. Instead of 5 people driving 5 times a week, only 1 person is driving one day, 1 person is driving the next, etc., etc., etc. That's getting 4 cars off the road every single day. That's reducing all of your personal fuel usages by 4/5. And now you can use that time during your commute to read a book, listen to a podcast, crochet, take a nap, whatever needs to be done. In a recent video, we talked about how much money a zero waste life saves me every single year. You can check it out up here. And in that video, we discussed the average fuel usage per person in the United States. The average American drives 13,500 miles per year. By giving up your car completely, you can reduce that amount of emissions and save about $2,000 per year on gas and $1,000 per year on maintenance. And the EPA estimates that around 400 grams of CO2 are emitted per mile, making that average 13,500 miles 2.16 million kilograms of CO2 emissions per year. So you can see very easily how giving up your car or just becoming less reliant on your car has a huge impact. But again, not everybody can do that. So number 3, simply give up fossil fuels in other ways. I have a full video, the thumbnail looks like this, that you can find down below on this topic. But here are a few ideas to reduce your reliance on fossil fuels. Of course, driving less. You can also use less plastic because plastic is indeed made from fossil fuels. You can also recycle plastic and shop for recycled plastic to reduce your reliance on new plastic. Simply just shop less, especially online shopping that requires a lot of shipping emissions. Switch your bank to one that does not invest in fossil fuels because yes, a lot of banks do that. If you're in the market for a new car, try a secondhand EV or hybrid. You can also simply conserve energy and conserve water. Shop secondhand and also switch your energy provider to one that uses green energy. Another huge wasteful thing that I think all of us do accidentally, sometimes on purpose, is waste food. Not only is food waste taking up valuable space in our landfills, it is also causing methane emissions, which is 28 times worse than CO2. Thank you all for the correction on my recent video where I said 4 times worse. It's much worse than that. It is a waste of valuable calories, it is a waste of valuable nutrients, etc., etc. It is a huge problem to send our food waste to the landfills. Something else I learned in Not the End of the World, the book that I mentioned at the beginning, was how much food that we overproduce in the world. The average human, the average adult human, needs about 2,000 calories per day of food. But we produce enough human food again, this is not for food that we're feeding to our livestock, enough human food every single year to provide 5,000 calories worth of food to every human every single day. But yet people are starving and we're sending food waste to the landfill. So the easiest way to prevent food waste from food that you already have in your home is to compost it. Composting is easy and can be done in any space. I even did it in an RV and now I am vermicomposting in a small apartment. You can learn more about how to start your own compost in this video. So put your food scraps in, balance it out with some browns, aka some dead stuff, dried paper and things like that. Stir it on occasion and wait for the magic to happen. This natural biodegradation does not create methane, but it does create nutrient-rich fertilizer. And this is even better if you have a garden or houseplants and you can use this natural fertilizer instead of synthetic-based fertilizers, which are also harmful to the planet. But also prevent food waste in other ways. While I truly believe that everybody can compost in some capacity, I know that it's easier said than done, so why not just reduce that food waste before it even enters your house in the first place? So start with creating a shopping list and actually stick to it. For me, I pick a meal that I want to eat, write the ingredients that I need, and buy only those items. That way I have precisely what I need, no more. This isn't a huge deal with shelf-stable items, but I can create a lot of waste with fresh items. When you get home, store food properly. Carrots and celery stay the crispiest when stored in a jar of water. Lettuce stores best when washed and in a glass container. I find broccoli lasts much longer when I chop it up and store it in any container. You get the idea. This may take a bit of learning, but the results are definitely worth it. If your food is sitting on your counter or in your fridge and it's starting to look a little bit wrinkly, a little bit sad, this is your time to freeze it. The freezer is a great way to prevent food waste, no matter where you live, as long as you have a freezer. I'm just saying that you don't have to have a canning setup. You don't have to have a lot of space in order to preserve food. You can just use your freezer. Or maybe your freezer is too full, you just don't want to freeze this certain item. Find a way to use it immediately. If you have brown bananas, throw them into some banana bread. If you have a wrinkly bell pepper, put it into some fajitas. That last piece of your bread loaf that has gone stale, turn it into some croutons. You get the idea. Simply just get creative. If you practice all of these habits, the only thing that you're going to be composting anyway are food scraps like apple cores and banana peels. And not stuff that has sat in your fridge so long that it went bad. A great way to live zero waste and save some money is to shop secondhand. It's really pollutive to create an item from new. from scratch. And yes, even eco items like a reusable water bottle. This was still pollutive to create. So if you need something, consider buying it secondhand instead. And after enough time, this will become habit. Instead of thinking, oh, I need a new pair of shoes, I'm gonna go to the mall, I'm gonna go to Amazon, I'm gonna do XYZ, you're gonna look secondhand. For example, Dan wanted some sandals recently. He got on OfferUp immediately and started looking and found something that worked just for him. But especially items that are very, very harmful to create, such as diamonds, tech, cotton, and things of that nature, definitely look secondhand for those. But why is this better for the planet? Let's say you're looking for a piece of wooden furniture, for example. If you get one secondhand, now a tree does not have to grow to reach maturity, be cut down, turned into lumber, assembled, stained, painted, shipped, reassembled at your house, etc., etc. All of these steps in the supply chain are wasteful, and you eliminate all of that by shopping secondhand. Plus, that item now gets to stay out of the landfill, and it's almost always cheaper for you as well. I have a full video about the importance of shopping secondhand that you can check out right here. But also, simply just shop less. Way too often, we are just simply over-consuming, and yes, that does go for secondhand items as well. If you're gonna overconsume, like if you have to choose overconsumption and your only option is to overconsume secondhand or overconsume new, overconsume secondhand, but ultimately all overconsumption is not great, even secondhand overconsumption. So be content with what you have. Do you really need that item? Do you have a use for it? Is something in your home already going to serve that purpose? So try upcycling. Do you really need to buy a new jar, or can you reuse that pasta jar? Do you really need a new cup, or can you wash and reuse that pasta jar as a cup? If shopping is simply your hobby, try a different hobby. Crocheting, woodworking, sewing, playing an instrument, going on a hike, mountain biking, rock climbing. There's endless hobbies that you can try that are not shopping. And I have a full guide to breaking up with overconsumption that you can find down below. I think a really underrated way to live an eco life, and particularly in an activist manner, is to amplify, spread the word, and inspire others. As I hinted at in the vegan section, it really does not matter if 10 people are perfect vegans or 10 people are perfect environmentalists. We need everybody to be trying. We need everybody to be reducing. Yes, everyone. It's amazing that you have learned everything in this video, and that you learned everything on that social media post, and you learned everything in that book, but spread the word. We don't need a few perfect environmentalists. We need everybody to simply care and be aware of these things. So inspire others. This may simply look like leading by example, or recommending some of your favorite eco books. Maybe it's sharing a social media post to your story, or sharing a news article that you read. It could be encouraging your friends and family to sign a petition or to volunteer with you, and things of that nature. So once you are inspired, inspire the others in your life, and let's work together. Another one that might scare people away, I'm asking you to get politically involved. I totally understand if you feel at a time like this that your voice does not matter, but it still truly does. So let me tell you a little anecdotal story about a town hall that I recently went to. My city was trying to criminalize homelessness, and at this point they have been trying for months and months, and it felt very adamant that they were just going to pass this bill no matter what we thought. And I could have said, yeah, my voice doesn't matter. I'm not going to show up to this town hall. I'm not going to sign this petition. I'm not going to email my city council members. I could have said that. 200 and some odd people who attended that town hall that day could have said that. We could have all stayed home, and there would have been no one there to give public comment, and the bill would have passed. But because several hundred of us in our county had showed up, wrote emails, called, signed petitions, made signs, marched, made noise, shared social media posts, the bill did not pass because we used our voices. I talked with some friends who had been involved with this early on, and they said, yeah, pretty much all 5 council members wanted this to pass a few months ago. But because they had sat there and they had listened to public comments over the last few months, they realized, oh, my constituents don't want this. I'm going to listen to my constituents. I understand not every politician, city council member, mayor, up to your senators, whatever, your governors, they're not going to listen to their constituents because maybe they're being bought out by somebody. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they have a personal agenda to push. That sucks. Don't get me wrong, that really does suck, but that is not their job. I really hope that we start to get some good people in public office who are representing us and representing their constituency accurately, right? They should be doing what their constituents want because we put them there. They are working for us. As with many other things on this list, I get it. It is easier said than done, but we have to at least try in this area. And also in that moment, I realized that, hey, I might not be able to influence national politics. My senators never answer me because I live in California now and they have a huge, huge voter base. They can't respond to all of the millions of us. I sure as heck know Donald Trump is not going to listen to me. My mayor might listen to me. My city council members might listen to me. So go to town halls to ecofy your city. Vote in local and state elections to ensure compost access and recycling access and library funds. You can sign local petitions. You can start local petitions. You can organize with people in your community to do a trash cleanup or host a food bank. Of course, doing these things nationally matters too. I'm not saying don't get involved in national politics, but it can be easier and a lot less daunting to do it locally and also hopefully be able to see the fruits of your labor pay off period, and also a lot more quickly. So a few ways to get politically involved are to get registered to vote and be an educated voter. Don't head to the polls without any information. Research the candidates and figure out who and what you're going to be voting for before you show up. Encourage your friends and family to vote for the planet too. Go to town halls, sign petitions. Heck, if you want to go big, run for city council, run for mayor yourself. And also simply talk about politics. Once again, I know it can be scary and daunting, and I'm not saying that you need to like force this onto people, but if a political conversation comes up naturally, don't be afraid to step in and talk about it. So we have made it to the list of the biggest and best things that we can do for the planet, but I still truly believe that our small actions matter. Don't stop doing those small things. Your reusable water bottle is great. Picking up that one piece of litter is great. Turning off the lights is great. But the point of this video is that those actions are pennies to the dollar of these bigger actions. If you have the time, the mental capacity, the mental energy, the physical energy, focus on all of these things, go for it. But I make this video to just show people that you don't have to do 100 million things to live zero waste or to be an activist. You can focus on these, what was that, like 6 things? And these have huge impacts. This video is if you don't know where to start. This video is if you are limited on your time and your money and your energy. Or maybe zero waste living is starting to stress you out just because you don't know which is the best thing to do and where to do it and when to do it and how to do it. So I hope that this can be a valuable starting point for you. And also just to emphasize that you can't do it all, I can't do it all, so don't put that burden on yourself or others. So simply focus your time and energy on the actions that have the most impact and also the things that matter most to you. Once again, if you want to learn more about any of these topics in depth with nuance and research from a data scientist, I highly recommend Not the End of the World by Hannah Ritchie. We really love that book. And don't forget you can check out our Eco Book Club down below and also my Zero Waste in a Year guide. Now the guide does go into a lot of like little nitpicky things about zero waste living, but if that's for you, you want to do a whole bunch of little things and you want to learn about the nitty gritty of zero waste living and not just these few things, it is a great place to start, and I guide you through an entire year of eco living. And of course, this list is not conclusive. Let us know down below what your biggest and best actions that you take for the planet are. Thank you so much for watching this, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I will see you in the next video, but until then, remember that your small actions truly do make a big difference in the long run. Bye guys. This isn't a huge deal with shelf. And I have a full guide to shopping. No. And I have a full guide. What is the guide? What is it? To breaking up.